G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now, just a quick update on the New South Wales Parliament inquiry into John Barilaro and his $500,000 US job. And on Thursday, the 18th of August 2022, they had another hearing. There are only two witnesses called, Dr. Marianne Broadbent and Warwick Smith. Now, Dr. Marianne Broadbent is a recruitment consultant, and I'll play a video in a second of about 30 seconds of her testimony. And there's only 2 points you need to focus on. Number one, the fact that she had a meeting with Amy Brown, and Amy Brown, who is the CEO of Investment New South Wales, who was overseeing the appointment, told Marianne Broadbent that they've chosen John Barilaro for the role and to change the report to show that. And they had to change. She had to change the report because John Barilaro wasn't the one recommended. He came in number 2. So they needed to change the report to move him to number 1. That in itself says it was a political appointment, and blatantly a political appointment. And also the second thing you want to focus on is that Dr. Marianne Broadbent says Amy Brown told her to say that in the report that the references were very good. The problem is that both references were former politicians. One was Barry O'Farrell, who was a former New South Wales Premier for New South Wales, and he had to resign because of corruption. He got caught perjuring himself at the New South Wales Independent Commission Against Corruption. So he had to resign, only over a bottle of wine, but even so, he decided to resign because he knew it would probably be a lot more dirt dug up if he had stayed. And the other one was Arthur Sinodinos, who gave evidence at New South Wales Independent Commission Against Corruption. He was all over the place. He had a memory like a sieve, couldn't remember anything. I think he said, I don't know, or can't recall, about 200 times. And that was in relation to some dodgy deal involving their Eddie Obeid and his family over some dodgy water scheme they were working on. Arthur Sinodinos would ultimately pointed to Washington, our ambassador to Washington. Total joke for someone who's got a memory like a sieve and couldn't remember anything at ICAC. How's he going to perform at Australia's ambassador to the US? And Barry O'Farrell, I think, is an ambassador to India. Either way, both of them are former politicians, and both of them gave dodgy evidence at the New South Wales Independent Commission Against Corruption. So to say they were good referees is a bit of a joke, and Amy Brown would have known that.
I asked to meet with Amy Brown, which I did face-to-face as soon as you could sort of travel and things, on the 26th of May. And at that meeting, Ms Brown advised me that Mr Barilaro was being appointed and asked if I would please change the order of the candidates. And again, there was no comment that I did a bad job in the first place either. Could I please change the order of the candidates to reflect that, and also ensure that I included comments that Mr Barilaro had a strong reference report.
Anyhow, they had another witness, Warwick Smith, and he was one of the so-called independent members of the panel that chose John Barilaro, and he said he wouldn't have chosen John Barilaro because there were better candidates before the panel. So that's dug a huge hole again for John Barilaro, and also Amy Brown. She's obviously got to be sacked. There's no choice, about whether they should have sacked her or not. She's got caught out, I believe, perjuring herself at the Parliament inquiry, but either way, she's certainly lying. Whether deliberate or not is irrelevant. So that's just a bit of an update of where we're at with the Parliament inquiry. Obviously, John Barilaro phoned in sick, so to speak, last week, and he'll probably be a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months, maybe never, when he'll show up to give evidence again. He said he would, but I really got to question whether he will or not. Because he'd have to know that the New South Wales Independent Commission Against Corruption are having a good look at it, and does he want to go before the parliamentary inquiry again, and potentially get caught out lying again, which can be used by the Independent Commission Against Corruption with their investigation if they take it further, in which they have to at this point. It's become a national scandal. Other than that, please share this video on Facebook and Twitter, etc. And as you know, I've set up a Patreon account, and when I last checked, we had 48 patrons who had donated $382 on a monthly basis. I think that's going fairly well since I only set it up on Tuesday. So please donate to that if you can. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.